actionable information. You're watching Wager Talk Today, the best daily sports betting show on the planet. And we have a great lineup. Marco's going to be joining us right off the bat. We're going to talk the Detroit-Cleveland baseball game. Same with Baltimore playing at Miami. Bryan Power after that. He's going to look at the Brewers and the Cubs. And the Rays and the Jays. And Andrew McInnis at the end of the show to discuss some CFL and a little bit of Olympic betting. The Olympics are right in front of us. And yes, there's a lot of betting opportunities there. Teddy Covers is my co-host. What do you got for your big game breakdown?
It will not be Olympic betting, I can tell you that much, but it will be some NFL. How about Hall of Fame game? We'll break it down today, right here on Wager Talk Today. It's 7 days, 8 days till the start of football season, till the real, all September. No. Football season starts with the Hall of Fame game. That would be August 1st. Locked and loaded with a client play right here on Wager Talk Today.
Well, stay with us for that, Teddy. Have you ever seen so many changes in an offseason as this NFL season has for us?
Yes.
Really?
Many times.
I'm not with you, bro. Like, the quarterback carousel, all the coaches. I think this has been the most amount of changes I've seen in recollection. Bryan Power, Marco D'Angelo, you with us? Do you agree or not?
There's a lot. There's some big names that, moved around quarterback-wise, so that's why it seems bigger this year. But every year it seems like there's more and more as the free agent market continues to thrive. Let's go that way. The last couple of years with, guys like Russell Wilson, Kirk Cousins, moving around. Aaron Rodgers last year.
Yeah, but this year, go ahead, Teddy.
I'm baffled by what you're saying, Lawrence. How
of course you are.
Again, I've done all my NFL research. Okay, I'm ready. I'm ready for the season to start today. What is different this year? What have you seen that's so different this year that, oh my God, I've never seen it before? What is that? Because I don't understand.
Brother, I got a lot of, listen, I'm doing my research as well, and obviously I'm up to date, but I've got a lot of friends who follow the NFL very, very closely, and they couldn't tell you who the quarterback for Washington is. They couldn't tell you who the quarterback for Denver is. They couldn't tell you the coach of the Tennessee Titans. Listen, we'll agree to disagree. What do you guys think? Marco D, let's get into some actionable betting information. Detroit playing Cleveland.
Real quick,
yes, Teddy.
Just to point out, the Denver quarterback situation is still in flux. Washington is likely to start the number 2 overall draft pick, Jay Daniels, but he has not yet been announced for the starter for week 1. So all you have to do is do a little bit of research, and these questions become a lot easier to answer.
Obviously. Thank you, Captain Obvious. Welcome to Wager Talk Today, everybody. The curmudgeon and the Prez. Marco, let's get straight into this, man. Cleveland playing Detroit. Cleveland in a bit of a free fall. Lost 3 of their last 4, 7 of their last 10. They're playing Detroit. Detroit's rolling. They've won 5 of 7. How do we bet this game?
Well, I'm looking at this one, and it's all about Jack Flaherty. He takes the mound today for the Tigers, and he has been just absolutely razor sharp basically all year. He's allowed 3 runs or less in 14 of his 17 starts this year. In his last 10 games alone, he's allowed 0 or 1 run in 5 of the 10 starts. Now, we all know Scooball's the ace of the Detroit staff. But let me tell you right now, the name that everybody's talking about is Jack Flaherty, because as we approach the trade deadline, the end of the month, this is the name that everybody is talking about, where he's going to land. Tiger's going to trade him. He is the number 1 pitching commodity out there, and rightfully so. So he takes the mound tonight. You know you're going to get a good effort from him as he's been pitching well all year. You know he's got the motivation because he could end up in the next week landing on a contender instead of the Tigers. And anybody that's followed Detroit baseball for the last decade or so, that's definitely something to look forward to. Get out of Detroit and land on a contender down the stretch. I look at this Cleveland team. You talked about it, Prez. They're not playing good baseball right now. Now, they scored 5 runs last night, got a win last night, 5-4. But in the 3 previous games to that, they've scored just 3 runs total in the 3 previous games. In their last 10 games, 6 of the 10, they've scored 2 runs or less. So we got a hot pitcher with all the motivation in the world because he could be landing on a contender and then looking at a bigger contract. And we've got a team that can't hit the baseball. That tells me only one way to go. And to make things a little bit better, Cleveland is sending Tanner Bibby to the mound tonight. Now, he is coming off a game where he went 5 2/3 shutout baseball. And you say, why would you want to step in front of that? Well, it wasn't as good as it looked. Yeah, he didn't give up any runs. His strikeout to walk ratio was 3-3. Nothing to write home about. 3 walks you don't like to see. But what got the red flag for me is in 5 2/3 innings, he threw 102 pitches. That's back-to-back games for him throwing over 100 pitches. And to throw over 100 pitches in just 5 2/3 innings, that's kind of unheard of. Also, the first time he threw 100 pitches, 2 starts back, well, he got 9 days in between starts because he had the All-Star break. Now he's coming back after another 100-plus pitch performance on normal rest. He will not have the same velocity tonight. I think Detroit gets to him. Combination of him and Flaherty pitching as well as he is. I'm going first 5 innings. And the bonus here is because Detroit is an underdog in this game, we're able to get them for the first 5 innings and add a half a run and get it at -115. You're giving me the better pitcher against a team that can't hit, and you're giving me a half a run for first 5 innings, and I only got to lay $1.15. I'm there all day long.
Let me ask you about Bibby, or as you call it, described him, because all the Guardians have done is won for this guy all year. They're 15-5 in his 20 starts. All right. So to say, well, they've, though this last start was good, he's been pitching them to victories all year long. Obviously, doesn't have a great track record against Detroit, but in these second looks and third looks against division mates, you expect pitchers to be able to make some effective adjustments. It's what they do. Talk to me about Cleveland starter and the success the Guardians have had in his games this year and why today is the day to fade him.
Well, Teddy, I love the fact that you go that way, that they are 15-5 with him. And I know 100% if I would have said I'm going with Cleveland today and Bibby's 15-5, you would have said to me, but Marco, aren't you worried? The Indians can't hit the baseball right now. How can you back them when they can't score any runs, right?
Well, they scored 5 last night to beat me.
This is true, but again, one game sample size. I'm looking at the big picture here, and to me, again, his numbers don't dictate a pitcher that should have a 15-5 record. Yeah, there are just certain pitchers that just keep getting runs scored for them because the team, whatever reason, does it. And then there's a guy like, last night for my Pittsburgh Pirates, loses his first game of his career. He loses a 2-1 game. They don't give him any support, Paul Skeens. I can't explain that one, but I'm looking at the big picture with Cleveland, and they're just not hitting the baseball. One game, I need to see them put a couple games together of scoring some runs. And Flaherty has been dynamite all year long. And again, I'm looking at the 102 pitches, Teddy. That's something I like to look at. Pitchers that don't throw a lot, throw that many. That today's baseball, they don't let guys get to that 100 pitch mark anymore. And to do it in back-to-back starts and come back on normal days rest, I just don't see him being as effective against the Tigers, who see him often.
Marco D'Angelo joining us, everyone. And Marco, we spoke about, the pitch count already this week. Man, I don't know if you guys have seen Facing Nolan on Netflix. It's a documentary about Nolan Ryan. One of the best sports documentaries I've ever seen in my life. I think he would literally get into a fist fight with his manager if he was playing in today's era. Before we get into the next game, Baltimore at Miami, I just want to make mention, Teddy covers. I had the pleasure and privilege of seeing Marco's house recently when I was in Las Vegas. I don't know if you've been there, but I will tell everybody that Marco is the best office I've ever seen in my life. And I mean, my brother's a multi-billionaire, and Marco's office puts his to shame. Teddy, have you ever been to Marco's house and seen his office?
I am not.
Wow. I mean,
we'll have to get you here.
What?
I said we'll have to get Teddy here. Have a cookout.
It's really spectacular. So congratulations, Marco. I mean, you work in such an incredible office. I'm totally jealous. Let's get to the next game. And, you know, this game, Baltimore playing Miami, interesting to me conceptually. I'm looking at Baltimore as a bet on team moving forward right now. This is a team that is 3-7 in their last 10, but they're 60-40 on the year. It feels like they might get hot. And like Teddy has always said, you got to try to jump in before it happens. So Baltimore today playing Miami. The line is around minus 135 to minus 145, depending on what book you have. I like the Orioles. Where are you going here?
I like Baltimore as well, Prez. And, you know, I look at statistics. There's no question. You got to use statistics in your handicapping and numbers, but you also know I'm a big situational guy, and I absolutely love the situation we have tonight with Baltimore. This is a team that's coming off a loss last night to, let's face it, Miami's one of the bottom feeders in baseball. They're not a good baseball team. Baltimore was coming off back-to-back series against the Yankees, division rival, and the Yankees, you know, you always get up for that. And then they followed that series up with a trip to Texas to play the defending world champs. Granted, Texas is not having the season that they had last year, but they're still the defending champs. Then they got the day off, Monday. They come in and play a Tuesday night game in Miami against a handful of, you know, spectators as usual in Miami. And this is a team that, you know, look like, you know, we just have to show up and we win a game. Wrong. They got beat last night. So why do I like them tonight? Well, I like to take teams that come off a loss to a bad team. Also like the fact that they're starting a rookie tonight. He's making his major league debut. I come on the show, I tell you guys all the time, pitchers have the advantage over the hitters the first time through the league. Now, Baltimore's been decimated with injuries to their starting staff, and they've gone through a lot of pitchers. They're getting the call up. That's why McDermott is getting his major league debut tonight. In AAA ball, he had in 20 starts, he had an ERA 3.96. Not great, not bad either. Right in the middle of the road. But it's the first time that Miami will have faced him. Advantage to him. For Miami, they're sending out Cabrera to pitch. In his ERA in 8 starts this year, 7.36. He has been a total mess. I also like the situation, as I said, about coming off a loss, but you also get the team to try a little harder when it is a rookie making his major league debut. They try a little harder. They want to try to get the guy his first win and everything else. So the combination, off the loss, rookie on the mound, bounce back scenario, and playing a much inferior team that's sending out a pitcher that has been a human piñata all year, that lines me up at Baltimore. And because they haven't been playing well over those last 10 games, as you pointed out, Prez, we're getting them at a really good number, in my opinion. I'll take them. I'll lay this number with Baltimore, and that's our second free play for today.
So in 2022, the Orioles were, I believe, the most profitable team in baseball, and it was all second half of the season. They were monsters. 2023, Baltimore, most profitable team to back in baseball. 2024, first half of the season, Baltimore among the leaders, if not the most profitable team to back in baseball. So we're talking about a 3-year stretch where the Orioles have exceeded market expectations wildly each year. Now they're 3-7 their last 10. We're like, okay, this team is bet on after this little. Isn't Baltimore due for a bigger correction than the one we've just seen? That's the question I'm asking. That's my follow-up.
There it is. I would have said, Teddy, where I would have expected the bigger regression would have been from the first year you said in 2022 to 2023. Because if you remember in that year, they were on the right side, if I remember correctly, of every one-run ball game that year. It was absolutely incredible. And everybody the next year, I think that's why they were so profitable, because everybody that, does the advanced metrics and everything said, oh, they got to regress. Nobody can win that many one-run games. And yet they still continued to win last year. Right now, their problem has been the pitching with the injuries that they've suffered. They've gone through just too many pitchers. And that's why I think you see the downslide. Overall, this is still a very good baseball team. They were a young team 2 years ago, learning how to win, and that's why they flew under the radar. I think they have a big second half. They're still one of the best teams, I think, in the AL East if they can get some pitching. And we talked about Jack Flaherty in the first game. This would be a guy that if they could find a way to make a trade and get him on this pitching staff after the trade deadline, because they're definitely going to be buyers. That's what they need, is they need a big arm, and I think that can help this team get back to the playoffs.
Marco D'Angelo joining us, co-founder of WagerTalk. Teddy, did you have another question? You did your hand maneuver.
Yeah. Well, I just wanted to, again, the goal here is to make sure we have the facts right. Last year, Baltimore was insane, 30-16 in one-run games. 2022, Baltimore was a game under 500 in one-run. There are 2 games under 500. So it was last year they had the success. That's all I wanted to do.
Okay.
Marco, what do you have?
I knew it was one of them.
Marco's got a 5% MLB major wager today, guys. Over at Wager Talk, we do not have games of the year. We have a rating system of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The majority of plays released are somewhere around 3%. Today, Marco has a very rare 5% play. Over the last 5 months, he's only had 7 of these plays, and he is 6-1 in them. So really, really good time to purchase Marco D'Angelo today. Marco, you loving this play as much as I'm loving your office?
Yes, Prez, I like the play. And, if you like my style of handicapping, and everybody has a different style, my combination of situational stuff with statistical stuff, head on over to Wager Talk, go to my homepage, pick it up. Game by itself is $35. $4 more, you can pick up the whole day, get all of my plays. That would be the plus EV move if you want to get everything I got today.
Marco D'Angelo, thank you for joining us, brother. So, guys, 7 minutes into the show, Teddy Covers writes, "You've said an unbelievable amount of stupid shit already." Okay. I don't know how, my response was okay. Like, I don't want to argue. All people do in today's age is argue. So, Teddy, I hope you enjoyed my incredible, unbelievable amount of stupid shit. Appreciate your kind words. We'll get to what did bettors learn in a second, real quick. I went to see Chicago and Earth, Wind, and Fire last night. Wasn't great. Was not great. It was an amphitheater, so I got to sit in beautiful weather. I think it was probably around 85 degrees all night. It was stunning. But the concert was shit. That's about my review on the concert. Teddy, what did bettors learn?
That's an excellent concert review, Lawrence. I'm sure our audience is enamored and very interested in that detailed analysis of who was it, Chicago, and then somebody else. Let's talk about MLB totals since the All-Star break, as Lawrence continues to say an unbelievable amount of stupid shit in a relatively short amount of time. So last night we saw a run of unders. Miami, Baltimore, total was 8.5, landed 9. Tigers, Royals, also total 8.5, landed 9. So both of them cashed by a hook. Oakland A's. The Oakland A's, by the way, are number 1 in MLB in OPS over the last 30 days. That offense is rolling, and people aren't necessarily talking about it. Number 1 in baseball, the best offense in baseball the last 30 days for the A's. They scored 8 last night. The game got to 10. Total was 9. So went over by the 3 games that went over, cashed the over by a combined total of 2 runs. And that was it for overs yesterday. And the A's game was the only one that got to 10 runs, 11 unders, 3 overs, 1 rainout. Then we look back to Monday and the weekend. And the AL, the interleague play pretty close to 500. But National League games over the last 4 days since Saturday, 19 unders, 3 overs. That stood out to me. I thought it was worthy of a mention. And MLB totals are not independent of one another. Overs beget more overs. You have hot bats, you have overworked bullpens. They stay that way until proven otherwise. Unders beget more unders. When you have cold bats and rested bullpens, they stay that way until proven otherwise. Total streaks are streaks to ride. Right now, if you're betting NL overs, you're getting crushed. My advice, stop until proven otherwise. That's what I learned last night. Lawrence, back to you, my friend.
Teddy, you've said some unbelievably stupid shit on this show. Just want to get that out there. How was yesterday? You got through yesterday without a cigarette?
Yeah, so talking about it on air makes me like, I don't like to talk about it because it makes me Jones. I'm still jonesing for smokes all the time. Okay, they're still, are strong. Like, go have a cigarette right now. I'm close to 2 weeks in 10. That's what I started on a Saturday, so I'm 10 days in or 11 days in right now, and I'm still jonesing off. So I haven't had one. I'm chomping the gum. I'm ready for a piece of gum right now after spending a little bit of time with you. But so far so good. But in terms of like the addiction's not cured. But we're putting one day after the next to try to put some space between me and the last cigarette.
I will not bring this up again, so I apologize.
It's okay.
Sorry about that. So Bryan Power is going to be joining us. He's talking Brewers and Cubs, Rays and Jays. Brian, how are you, buddy? What's going on?
Doing good, Prez. It seems like you're really striking out here with everything you say. For Ted, he's just ringing you off everything you get in, man. I've enjoyed the first 22 minutes of this program. It's been highly entertaining as I sit backstage, as it always is.
Brian, I might be striking out, but that's only because the umpire is an idiot.
Wide strike zone, right, Prez? Wide strike zone.
Yeah. So, Brian, yesterday we spoke about, what's your favorite pizza? And we had a guy in the comment section put up that he has been cooking pizza for 50 years, which I assume would make him in his 70s, but that's okay. And I said I love pineapple on my pizza, hot peppers, pepperoni, pineapple. He considered that sacrilege to put pineapple on pizza. He wouldn't do it with a bazooka held against his head, so he would rather die. What he's saying is he would rather die than put pineapple on a pizza. Yeah, things change. Things move. This, tradition nonsense. I mean, come on, man. We put eggs on burgers now. If even the Vatican changed some of the rules in Vatican II. Things change. Women have vote. We don't need to get all caught up in what it used to be 300 years ago. What's your favorite pizza, dude?
Well, I don't like pineapple, but I would rather eat pineapple on a pizza than die. I will say that.
Yes.
So there's that. And as I look at Teddy here to your right, my right, has he slacked you, by the way, since this opening situation started?
Not yet.
I think you're getting a few more strikes there. I think you're getting that was an incredible transition. How you went from pineapple on pizza to women's suffrage, by the way, Prez. Only you, I think, could pull that off in the same breath.
And the Vatican too. I got some religion in there.
Yes, with that. Yeah, that was. Wow. You and Bill Simmons. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, dude. Okay, brother, let's get into some actionable betting information. We got a 2:20 game you want to discuss, 2:20 Eastern. The Brewers playing the Cubbies. Let's just go. How are we betting this game?
Yeah, always pays to watch live, guys, so you can get some actual info on these day games. Couple of key things to note with this one, Prez and Teddy. When it comes to pitchers that deserve a better record, I'm going to put the name of Justin Steele right near the top of that list. I know he did get rocked his last time out, Teddy, for sure. But prior to that, how about 7 consecutive quality starts? And as I've been writing throughout the season, I think you could disregard the early portion of Steele's season because he was working his way back from an injury. He suffered it on opening day. For the year, he's now down to a 3.07 ERA and a 1.04 whip. He's a lefty, which is key because against Southpaws this year, guys, Milwaukee, dramatically different on the road as opposed to at home. And of course, this game is taking place at the friendly confines of Wrigley Field. At home, Milwaukee has the best batting average in all of baseball against lefties, 286. They're number 3 in WRC against lefties at home. But on the road, get this, 4th worst batting average against lefties, bottom 5 in WRC against lefties. So things set up well, I believe, for Steele to pitch well in the spot. He only allowed 3 runs in Milwaukee over 6 innings, Teddy. I actually cashed the Cubs as a 5% play that day. It was a couple weeks ago. Given the home road splits I just went through, I think it stands to reason Steele's going to be even better this afternoon. And Milwaukee, probably without Christian Yelich. He left yesterday's game with back tightness. Sounds like he's heading to the IL. Brewers only scored 2 runs in the first 2 games of the series, so they're not swinging the sticks well. I know we're betting into some uncertainty. That's probably where your follow-up's going to be with Zastryzny. He was late in the morning named as the starter/opener. He's yet to record more than 4 outs in any appearance this season, so I don't think he's going long. I just think Steele is going to outduel his counterparts here. I like the plus money on the prop. This is a prop, Steele to record a win that I cashed when he won his first game of the season a couple weeks back against the Angels. So the play is Justin Steele to record a win. That is now plus 145 at DraftKings. I think that's a pretty nice price, all things considered.
So Steele with, 2 wins in 15 starts this season. Here's my question for you. There's a chance of rain at Wrigley today, and there's a chance of rain early. In my mind, that would be immediately no bet on Steele because if there's a rain delay, he gets pulled, he doesn't come back in, that's the end of it. Does that worry you at all that we could see a rain delay early on in this ballgame, the weather forecast for Chicago?
Yeah, although it didn't affect their starter last night is what I'd come back on. I had the Cubs in the first 5, actually wound up with a push on the first 5 last night. So I think Steele could be, like I said, you mentioned the 2, they only has 2 wins in 15 starts. I'll go back to what I said at the outset, Teddy. I think that's just really a fraudulent thing. He's pitched really well. He had the tough start to the season because he got hurt early. He wasn't great coming off the IL, but I think he figured it out last time. I'm going to view it as an aberration, and I'm going to lean on the fact that Milwaukee, when they leave their home park, they just don't hit lefties the same way they do at American Family Field. A nice park, by the way, that I've been to.
Bryan Power joining us, everyone. Exclusive handicapper at WagerTalk.com. And guys, I can't get into this, but Dan wrote a whole bunch of stuff in my Slack, and then he wrote, "Do not read on air." Can you hear him?
So we're all just going to be hanging. Yeah, so we're all just going to be left hanging about what you.
So let me summarize.
Just don't do it.
Let me summarize.
Just summarize pineapple, how it helps your health. Just Google it.
Let me summarize what Dan said. Do your spouse a favor and put pineapple on your pizza. Bryan Power.
We're going away this weekend. That sounds good. I'm going to give that a try, Dan. Thank you. I got a free play here on the program today.
Okay.
Is that like rhino horn?
Teddy, if you can't figure out what I just said, anyway. Dude, the Blue Jays are reeling, man. This is a team that can't score consistently, can't win games. Their pitching has been acceptable. Their hitting's a disaster. They've already announced that they're not looking to trade any of their big guns at the trade deadline. Frankly, I think they should overhaul the entire team, but that's a different story. Now they play the Rays. You like under 8, and that makes total sense to me. Tell us why.
Yeah, Teddy, obviously right before I came on, detailed the slew of unders we've been seeing across Major League Baseball. Look, the Blue Jays had actually gone over in a bunch of games, I believe 8 straight to be exact. But then last night
they lost 4-2 last night.
Yep, they scored. Yes, then the over streak came to an end with that low-scoring loss. For the season, I probably don't need to tell you this, Prez, but the Blue Jays, the 4th lowest scoring team at home in all of baseball. They average less than 4 runs per game at the Rogers Center. They're still calling it the Rogers Center, right? But regardless of what they're calling it, They don't score a lot there. Despite the success they've had in the past against Zach Eflin, who's starting for the Rays tonight, I don't see them score. The Jays scored many runs tonight because Eflin, I look at his season. One of the key stats I've really gotten into is expected ERA and weighing that versus actual ERA. Eflin's one of these guys, his expected ERA sitting over a full point lower than his actual ERA. That tells me I think better times could be on the horizon. The number of runs allowed so far, we could term that as unfortunate. And I think he can get the job done. You look at the other side, Rodriguez starting for Toronto here. He's striking out nearly 25% of the batters he's faced. And he's going up against the Rays lineup. A quarter of the time they come up to the plate, their batter's striking out. So when I did first pitch with Steve Merrill and Mark Zinno before I came on the show, somebody in the chat had mentioned, what do you think about Rodriguez's strikeout prop? I'm all aboard that, but I'm also all aboard the under because while Tampa scored 4 runs last night, did so on only 4 hits. So they were a little lucky, I think, to score 4 times. When it comes to betting the under, full game here, yes, Teddy, I am scared of the bullpens. There is no doubt about it. Both these bullpens have had their fair share of adventures. However, I think the 2 starters are going to give us a big enough cushion to work with. And for what it's worth, looked at the WagerTalk odds screen before I came on. This number had ticked down, and I concur with the move and would play under 8.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to ask you about. From 8.5 to 8, because there were 8.5 available last night in early betting action. The markets moved to 8. It was before 9 a.m. Eastern time, before 6 a.m. here on the left coast. So, yeah, they were available. They weren't available very long. Do you worry about stuff like that? Hey, I could have gotten 8.5, but now it's 8. Do you reduce your unit size? What do you do in that situation?
If it was 9 to 8.5, I would definitely, because obviously, you talk about the key numbers when betting baseball totals. Yeah, maybe I build them, but 8.5 to 8, it doesn't worry me as much. Obviously, I say that now, and we're going to get a 5-3 final. We all know that. But I just think, again, with the 2 stars, if you are concerned, maybe look first 5. If the move does bother you, maybe look first 5 under. Again, much of what I spoke of was the success I think the starting pitchers are going to have in this game, Teddy. So that would be, I guess, if the line move does scare you, an alternate look at it. Or, like I said, that Rodriguez K prop, I think, is live as well.
Bryan Power, what do you got to promote?
I have been on WagerTalk TV all morning. This is my 3rd show. I think I've talked about every single baseball game today. You can first pitch really went off the rails. It was only the consummate professionalism of Steve Merrill that kept the train on the tracks, so people could check that show out. It was a lot of fun. My best bet will be available right there on the page you see, wt.buzz/BP. I'm just going to have one play today, Prez, going all in on it. And it's great to be back on the program. Been too long.
Love having you on here, my friend. Bryan Power, everybody. Teddy, out of the blue, I'm missing tomorrow's show. Now, look, I'm around. I'm going on no vacations. I'm here till basically the end of the football season. There's going to be days every now and again when I miss a show. I got invited to a friend of mine put a team into a Pro-Am golf tournament, $5,000. It's a charity event. He paid $5,000 to put a team of 4 in. And one of the guys canceled last minute. So although I wasn't his first choice, I'm nobody's first choice.
Ding, ding, ding.
I ain't turning that down. I got to there's each team gets a PGA Pro to play with. And I'm not turning it down. So Steve Merrill will be sitting in for me tomorrow, but I'm back all next week. And I'm basically back until the end of football season. I'll miss a couple of days here and there. I have one vacation planned in October to celebrate my parents' 80th birthday. We're heading to Bahamas. But other than that, I am here till the end of February. So good news, I'm away tomorrow and Friday. Bad news, you're going to have to put up with me until the end of football season. I'm also working on my video schedule for this football season, and I am going to be doing a ton of videos. So stay tuned for that. I'm going to announce my plans in the next couple of weeks. Teddy Covers, it's time for your big game breakdown.
Let's do it. And this, my friends, is a big game breakdown talking about NFL preseason. It's 8 days away. Last year we did great in NFL X action. 8-2, 80% for the entirety of the preseason. I'm looking to do it again in 2024, and we have the Hall of Fame game with lines widely available right now. The Bears and the Texans, Thursday, August 1st. Looking at the free WagerTalk live odds screen. Chicago -1.5, total sitting at 33. Pretty much across the board. And I'll tell you what, Hall of Fame game, we know where the money comes for the Hall of Fame game. Every year, just about, money shows for the under. And the long-term trends are really strong. Hall of Fame game, under the total. If you bet it blindly for the last 30 years, you made money. But everything's different now. 17-game regular season equals 3 games in the preseason. It's not 16-4 anymore. The Hall of Fame game is a 4th preseason game, not a 5th. Coaches have used it differently. And what's happened the last couple of years? We're not talking about wild shootouts, but 37 points last year, 38 points the year before, both cashing overs. No, we're not expecting shootouts, but we're also not expecting field goals. We love the fact that coaches much more inclined to go for it on 4th down in the preseason. Both teams in the Hall of Fame game did it in 2022. One of them did it twice. Both teams went for it on 4th down in 2023 in the Hall of Fame game. Won twice. Lo and behold, over. Going for it on 4th down is good for overs. Even if you get stuffed, it's good for overs.
Yeah.
Then we look at the 2 teams. Now let's start with Chicago. The Bears with a rookie QB. They want to get him 40, 50 snaps in the preseason. Similar, they talked about it. So they want to have a similar game plan for Caleb Williams to what C.J. Stroud had last year for the Texans. The Texans, by the way, went over in 2 or 3 preseason games last year. New offense. Shane Waldron coming over from Seattle. There's more urgency for a team with new offense. They're not just tuning up. The backup QB situation. Tyson Bagent, Brett Ripien. These are a pair of backup quarterbacks who can play against third-string defenses. In theory, this is the best Bears offensive line depth in years. This alone is enough to go over 33, all right? And then we add the other side of the equation. You know, Houston signed 14 defense free agents. I don't think we're going to see them on the field a whole lot here. I expect to see a lot of young guys on defense for Houston in the preseason game. You look at their backup QB situation. Case Keenum, Davis Mills. We love these guys against backup and third-string defenders, for sure. And then the more you think about it, 33, I was thinking about this last time. I'm like, this is a client play. I'm not tweeting this out. You just got it here, free for watching Wager Talk today. Thanks for watching. We will get to the window with the over 33 Texans Bears Hall of Fame game, and we will give that to the clients. You guys got it here first. Lawrence,
well, there you go. Teddy covers. Let's keep this show moving. Guys, if you like what you're hearing, take a second out of your day and hit that like button. You know, I keep forgetting to ask at the top of the show, and I'll try to remember on a regular basis, but these likes are really, really important to us. There's a YouTube algorithm. It decides what, you know, somebody goes in there and like free betting advice, and YouTube has an algorithm that decides what shows to provide to that person and in what order. And, you know, in order for us to get to the top of that recommendation list, we need help from you. We can't do it alone. So we need those likes. We also need you guys to subscribe to our channel. It would be greatly appreciated. As far as I'm concerned, you know, B Daddy, Titan Sports, Ray, Andrew, all of you guys, we're one big team. So help us get up in the recommendation section of that YouTube channel and continue to build our business. We put a ton of work and effort into this. So please hit like if you can. Andrew McInnis joining us. Andrew, Olympics are right in front of us, brother. You excited?
I can't wait. I'm only handicapping one sport for the Olympics, but I mean, you watch sports you'll never watch, right? Diving, synchronized, all that stuff you wouldn't usually toss on your TV. But when it's on, you'll watch it. It's fun.
You basically mentioned 2 things that are not a sport. Synchronized is dancing, and diving is gravity.
Hey, Prez, Prez, you can work on golf, but I know you love saying that if you can smoke a steak and baseball, I agree with you. But synchro, that is hard as hell, man. The people that do that, you got to give them respect. Like, it actually is really difficult what they're doing.
Dude, there's lots of things in this world that's hard as hell. Contortionism, magic. They ain't sports either. I don't judge sports by how hard something is. Anyway,
Okay.
You got a couple of Olympic bets coming our way, but let's start with some CFL. Winnipeg playing Toronto. When is this game and how do we bet it?
This game is on Saturday. And last week I came on and gave a pick with a really great trend to back it up. And that was on Calgary, 5-1 ATS. We said, you know what? This team's covering every week. We're going to get them to cover again. One other big trend in the CFL right now, guys, the Winnipeg Blue Bombers have played 7 games this season. The total has gone under in 6 of those, 6-1 to the under. And I think the totals that we keep seeing in their games are representing the last few years of this team, are representing the roster and not exactly what we've seen so far. Last week, just 9 points put forward for them against Saskatchewan's defense. And look, Saskatchewan's off to a good year. Their defense is respectable, but 9 points is not good against anybody. And I'm not going to give credit for Saskatchewan stopping them. I'm going to actually just demote how I feel about Winnipeg. Zach Collaros, the quarterback, was great for many, many years. But his arm strength has clearly fallen off. The injuries have clearly affected the Bombers. And the total is 49.5 in this one. And Toronto, guys, they've been involved in some high-scoring games, no doubt about it. But I watched them play in person last week in Hamilton. I'll tell you what, their quarterback, until they get Chad Kelly back, their quarterback, Cameron Dukes, he doesn't really throw the ball farther than 10 yards. He is the king of checkdowns and dump-offs. This, to me, is going to be a field goal fest. It's going to be a game of long drives, a lot of punts. I don't see a lot of action in this one. And again, this number of 49.5 is indicative of who these teams once were, not who they are right now in week 8.
Andrew McInnis joining us. So, Teddy, I was talking about something off topic like always. And one of our listeners wrote, Ray D'Amico. Ray, appreciate you being here. Look at Teddy. Would love to know what he is thinking. I feel the same way, dude. Like, your facial expressions are priceless, brother. Like, I mean, my guess is shut up, Prez. You're off topic, Prez. You're annoying me, Prez. You're saying a whole bunch of stupid things, Prez. Can you maybe have cue cards in the future so whenever you give a facial expression, you could throw up a card? You know, so we can know what is going on in that noggin of yours?
So the facial expression is the card, Lawrence. I don't hide how I feel. I don't hide when you annoy the crap out of me. And I don't hide when this is what's going on in my head. My head is, can I handle, we're about to go into football season. Can I handle another year of doing this with Lawrence Presman every day? That's what was going on in my head right there, because Lawrence can make anybody crazy. And when you hang him with every day, he makes me crazy. So it is what it is. Andrew, let's move on to the next topic and talk some Olympic betting. What is it that you wanted to talk about for Olympics? Because you were saying, oh, yeah, we're watching all these sports that we never would watch. I don't turn the Olympics on for one iota. I don't turn it on for the opening ceremonies, the closing ceremonies. I got better shit to do than watch this. But if there's something bettable for our viewers, tell us about it.
Teddy, I'm only betting one sport, and that's the men's indoor volleyball. I follow it very closely during the year, the Nations League, the qualifying tournaments. I'm very well versed in volleyball myself. And for anybody out there wondering exactly how the volleyball betting works, it's very much so like tennis. Set betting, games betting, totals, the amount of points total in the entire match combined. You can get plus or minus for the games as total, plus or minus for the sets as a total. And guys, I'm super excited. Clients can expect plays from me. You can expect to see plays at WagerTalk.com. And, you take a look at these games. They're starting at 6 a.m. Eastern time, Saturday morning. So I'll be making sure to post those by Friday. You guys can get all of those and get the best bets possible. I'll blast through these really quick, guys. First one, we're going to take a look at Japan. And this Japanese team is unbelievable. They're ranked number 2 in the world. They just came off the finals. They came number 2 in the VNL championship, but somehow they're 10-1 to win in the Olympics. Doesn't make any sense to me. I think they're certainly worth a flyer to win it all, but I'm betting the -1.5 sets That means if they win 3-1 or 3-0, we cash this ticket against Team Germany. They're on an 8-3 run as far as covering -1.5 sets. And to me, the biggest strength of this Japanese team is their blocking. They have a lot of experienced blockers. They have the ability to shut teams down, and they turn defense into offense like no other. Germany, to me, doesn't have that much depth. They've got 1 or 2 attackers that will carry their team. If those guys get shut down, it'll be a very, very tough night for them. So I'm going to take a look at the -1.5 sets. Don't confuse it with games. That's -1.5 sets for them to win 3-1 or 3-0. Of course, anybody that doesn't know volleyball, the sets go to 25. Got to get to 25 3 times to win the match. The next one I like is an under, and we're going to go with Poland and Egypt under 130.5, guys. So there's so many ways to bet, like I said, with volleyball. And you look at all the numbers for this matchup, they're pretty much looking at the world number 1 team against world number 10 to kick off the tournament here. And the -2.5 games is a ridiculous price. The point spread on the games is a ridiculous price. Poland to win 3-0 is a ridiculous price. So what's the next avenue we can look at? What's the next option? And for me, it's looking at the under on games. Because to me, this is going to be absolutely abysmal for Team Egypt. I'm looking at 25-11, 25-12, 25-13, wrap it up, get on to the next one. This is the first game of the tournament. Poland wants to make a statement. I don't think that we're going to see Egypt be able to handle the power that Poland has as the top nation in the world with volleyball. So instead of betting 3-0, we're going to take under 130.5 points in this matchup. And hopefully it's done very quick.
There we go. Andrew McInnis. What a show. Theodore. Lots of laughs, lots of love. I want to give out a quick Olympic bet, and then we'll go to what you have to promote, Andrew. Look, guys, I made one Olympic bet this entire year, one and one only, and that is in the 100-meter race, the premier event at the Olympics, according to most, not to me. I think the 25-kilogram fencing competition is the premier bet, but hey, we can disagree.
I've heard that.
Noah Lyles, plus 175. Last year was the first year he really took the 100 meters seriously. He's a 200-meter runner, maybe the best of all time. Well, Bolt is right there, but Noah Lyles and Bolt are probably the 2 best 200-meter runners of all time. So he's only 1 year really into training for this 100-meter race, and yet last year he won the World Championships 2023. He's now at a full year to prepare for this premier event, and he's getting it at, the number is plus 175. So I've made that bet, Noah Lyles plus 175. Join me. Andrew, what do you got to promote?
Guys, 5% play for me in the CFL on Thursday. It's a long-term plus 35 unit run on 4% and 5% plays combined. Also a 16-5 run with the 5% plays overall. Guys, the problem with giving out so many free plays in the CFL, only 4 games, each week. So last week I came on the show and I gave out 2 free plays. That's 50% of the game. So just 1 free play in the CFL. The rest of my plays this week you guys can find over at WagerTalk.com. Thanks for having me.
Awesome stuff, Andrew McInnis, everyone. Teddy covers, great show. Enjoy tomorrow and Friday. I'll see you guys back on Monday. Take us home.
I won't go after this. I won't get to see you for weeks because I'm off next week. So I really look forward to not having to see your beautiful face, Lawrence, for the next couple of weeks. That
Wonderful.
Being said, that's going to wrap it for the Wednesday edition. Steve Merrill and I will be back tomorrow for the Thursday edition of Wager Talk Today. Same time, same channel, 9 a.m. here on the left coast, noon for you back east. Between now and tomorrow's games, you guys know what to do. Enjoy the games and best of luck with all your bets. Cheers.